Welcome back to the Untamed Social Podcast. This is episode 10, and today Ella Gunnell is back with us. Welcome back. We're so excited. I don't know if everybody else is, but I am.
This is my second episode back, so
it's
getting
like
into swing of things.
It's your season 2 debut, right? Did you do any in season 2? Okay.
I did one episode before this.
Oh, darn. I thought I was going to be the first one to get you on season 2.
I know. Sorry to disappoint.
Yeah. Ella had a baby, just to let that be known. That's why she hasn't been here. But she's back, and she's back with Strella, which is all that matters. And today we're going to talk about something really, really, in my opinion, funny, because it makes me think about, like, when somebody in my family asks me, what do I do? It's very hard for them to conceptualize my job. And so I don't think that's obviously just my family, but I think that a lot of people have a misunderstanding about social media management in general. So we're going to bust some myths today and talk about what it actually looks like to be a social media manager. And I think that social media managers just don't get the credit that they deserve. I think one of the biggest myths out there is that if you're a social media manager, you're not in marketing. Like, it's not considered marketing to a lot of marketing people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I have to put this out there. I was a marketing major in college. And one of the reasons that I gravitated towards marketing and I chose it is because I felt like it was pretty broad. Like, there's branding, there's market research, there's kind of like the advertising portion of it, right? Like, there's so many facets of it. And as I'm saying all of those things, we do every single one of those things on social media.
Yes. Yeah. It's funny. I mean, like, and it's so true. And I think that I just posted a couple of weeks ago on LinkedIn just a very simple static image that said, like, dear social media managers, just in case you forgot, like, you're marketers too. And it blew up. And there were so many people in social media who responded and resonated with that. And I think that's just because we feel like we're like the underdog, kind of like that.
Yeah.
And that's true too, because I feel like sometimes brands don't take social media as serious as they should. And so maybe that's kind of like the root of it. But at the end of the day, like, just like you said, we do everything. Like, it's so much more than just posting or scheduling content. It's literally brand strategy. We have copywriters, proofreaders on our team, people who are in charge of community management. That's huge, that a lot of people miss out on, or a lot of brands miss out on. Like,
yep.
It's so much more than you could ever imagine.
And it's funny too, because part of marketing is knowing how and where you're going to reach your ideal audience, your target. And people are just on social media more and more these days. So maybe that was true, like, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that like social media wasn't an important part of your marketing, but now it's like everything. Like, you have got to be on social media, and it can't be an afterthought. It has to be integrated into your marketing strategy that you already have.
Yes, to be honest, I feel like we should have already surpassed like priority for all other marketing, but that's really not the case. I mean, there are some brands who get it, obviously, but there's a lot of brands out there who don't understand that, and they're still investing in billboards.
Yeah. Radio ads.
Buc-ee's is crushing it with the billboards. I'll say that, but they can keep that going. But also, like, you're right. It's something where, like, times have changed. Everybody's on social media. That's where they're consuming the majority of their, like, downtime. So why would you not take advantage of that? And why are we still, like, the scum of the marketing?
I know. It's so true. I always am a little not hesitant to tell people what I do, but it's like, oh, what do you do for a job? I'm like, social media management. Like, I just know what's going through their head is like, oh, you like do silly little dances and like trending audios and stuff, and you post it. I know that people don't fully grasp what we do yet. So I think that what we're talking about today is very important.
It's so important. It's so important. I know the other day, it's funny, people always get it wrong too. My pastor at my church was talking to people, and he was like, this is Lainey. She's an influencer. And I was like, No, that's so far from what I am, but we'll roll with it. It's social media, I guess. We'll roll with it.
Close enough.
Yeah. It's funny. So obviously, like that's, I feel like the number one kind of myth is like we're not as important as people should view us as, but there's a lot of other things that people get wrong about social media management.
Yeah. And I think that another big thing that people tend to get wrong, which kind of stems from their view that like social media isn't really marketing, is that social media management should be inexpensive. I think people still totally have this idea in their head. They're like, oh, I can just hop on Fiverr and I can just go reach out to a little college student or high school student and have them manage my social media for like $12 an hour. And if you want to do that, that's great. Like if that's all you care about is like having stuff on your page be posted, then that's great. But when it comes down to it, if you're going to want like a strategy that actually moves the needle and actually does work for your brand in terms of like growing your audience, branding, all of that, you're going to have to invest a little bit more. Sorry to break it to you.
And sometimes a lot more. I mean, let's be honest about more. Like, well, and I think that there's this misconception too, because there are a lot of like freelancer social media managers who do, this side work, and that's great. Go for it, girl. That's how I started out, like I'm all for that. But at the end of the day, when you have like a sort of a boutique agency, kind of like how we do things, where we're very specialized, not in the sense of like, we only work with one type of brand, but we're specialized in the sense that we have so many different people on our team who specialize in different things. Like to me, like you'll always be our Instagram girl. Like if I ever have an Instagram question, you're the one who knows everything about it. I'm TikTok. You have people who are, we've got our video editor, graphic designer. Like everyone is really just an expert in their one thing, and we know who those people are. So it makes us really unique, and it offers more to what the brand needs, and that's what you're paying for. Like it's not just us posting, and doing, one person isn't doing everything. We've got 10 people touching one account in order for a week's worth of posts to go out.
So true. It's impossible for one single person to be as good at all of those things as it is for like 10 people who specialize in their one thing. Like we just have really good people on our team who excel at what they do, and you're just not getting that same quality. Yeah,
there's just no way like that you can do it all and know it all. I mean, and if you've got somebody who says that they know how to do everything and they're great at everything from beginning to end of posting, then I mean, I'm going to question you because that's just really, it's too difficult. Like I can't pretend to know everything about Instagram because I'm not on Instagram. It's just not the case.
Yeah. So true. Yeah.
And I feel like also like people, you tell them the pricing of like a full service social media management package. And if you're quoting them $3,000 or higher per month, the sticker shock, I get it. But at the same time, like how much is it costing you to have somebody who's doing a very mediocre job, who's taking on everything, and they don't have the capacity to do all of that. And all you're doing is just showing up. You're not actually posting strategic, meaningful content that's going to resonate with your audience. Then you're wasting money, and you're also wasting the opportunity to grow and to build your brand and to get more awareness for it.
Yeah. And here's the other thing besides just like the level of expertise that a full service social media management company will provide, but it's sincerely just like the sheer amount of work that we do to create a social media for a business. Like everything from building your strategy. We often help customers with their branding and help them get that narrowed down, like designing stuff for them. We do reports, analytics. We make all the assets for people a lot of times. If we're not, then we often will edit for them. We write their content. We manage their community. Like we're in people's DMs. Like we are in the thick of it all the time.
Yes.
So that just like level of work you're not going to get for $12 an hour.
Yeah. And obviously, like, if it wasn't a real thing, then we wouldn't be making money and we wouldn't be successful. So obviously, like, there's proof in the pudding that yes, it might seem like a lot of money, but the amount of work that goes into it, it pays off. And that's why we have brands that have been with us, for a decade.
Yep.
And I think that that just speaks volumes to the type of social media manager that you're choosing. You're going to pay the price for what you're getting.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And for some businesses that may not be worth it, but a lot of businesses come to us because they're ready to take it to the next step and actually start seeing results. And that's when you might want to look at maybe it's time that I do hire a full service social media management company.
Yeah, because most of them need it. Like, I can't tell you how many times I'm scrolling and I see a brand and I'm like, wow, you could really, really benefit from like not having your secretary create your posts anymore. Let's just step it up a notch. I promise it'll make all the difference. Because like we said before, that's where everybody is. Like, I don't know why people are just skimming over that like they don't spend all of their time on social media, because we know they do.
Yeah, for sure. I think that leads us into another myth that people have, and that is that social media success is always measurable. This one is a little bit tricky to explain. Do you want to try to
Yeah, I think
what we mean?
Like the number one thing that we get when we get prospects who are, reaching out to us for the first time and they're like, we want to grow our following. We want to get this many website clicks and this many book sales. And they've got all of these monetary goals and they've got number goals. But what we always lead with is that, like, go ahead and get that out of your mind, because that's not why we're here. We're here to help you with brand awareness. Social media is so much different than, say, a commercial or a billboard or something like that, a radio ad. I mean, like, the principle is still the same. Marketing is still the same no matter what, where like people need to hear or see something 7+ times in order to feel ready to invest in that product or service. But at the same time, like, social media gives you a much more approachable and easier access to that community, so that you are able to like make that transition with them. And they miss out on that. And so they think, oh, okay, like if I just post this and it resonates and goes viral one time, we're going to go crazy and we're going to have all these sales and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for repeat offenders. We want people to come in and keep coming back, and then also share it with the people in their lives to say, hey, this product or this service changed my life. Let me show you it, and to send it to them. So that's the type of virality you want, not necessarily views and numbers that way. What you want is to have that awareness where you're always top of mind, and the people who are your current customers are referring you out and doing that work for you.
Yeah. And that kind of thing is harder to measure. And I think the other important thing to point out is that the numbers don't always mean what they think you mean. And our clients specifically, like you said, will often chase followers or virality or kind of these like big shiny numbers. But the reality most of the time is that doesn't mean a whole lot, especially if you're not turning those numbers into conversions. Yeah. And it depends on what your goals are. And that's something that we can help you with. Like, what are your goals? And then what are the numbers that matter to help you achieve those goals? Because it's not always what you think.
It's not. And I've been saying so much recently, the cost of a follower is so high right now. Not even just a follower, the cost of a like. I mean, people just aren't liking content the way that they used to. It seems like such a simple process to just double tap on something to like it. But people feel like their likes are like treasure. I do. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, if I rarely like something on TikTok, if I'm scrolling and I see something that I'm like cracking up at, I'm more likely to send it to somebody than I am to tap the like button.
Yep.
Shares are obviously much more valuable, but at the same time, like, when you have this in your mind that like followers are so important, blah, 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 it doesn't matter when you're not at the same level that you were in the past, where it was so easy to gain a follower or to gain any type of engagement. So you have to work 10 times harder to get people to commit. And brands these days don't realize that. They think that it's normal to just get a crazy amount of engagement or whatever, but that's actually not the truth. So when you see numbers and you're like, wow, my following only went up 50, it could, depending on what your, current count is and how the audience is engaging with it, like that could actually be really transformational for a brand.
Right. Like imagine if just 10% of those people turn into customers. That's 5 new customers a month. Like that's very respectable, exactly, depending on what business you're in, right?
It's so true. It's so true. But also, in addition to that, one thing that I always think of when it comes to like metrics that you really don't consider is consistency. Any algorithm is going to like how you show up when you show up on their platform. And you have so many brands out here who are just willy-nilly like posting when they get a second. Or like if you've got a marketing team or a social media management team, like for instance, we have a consulting client and they have like a social media team, but that social media team also does a lot of other things and can't solely focus on the social media side of things. So they're falling behind. There's no consistency behind what they're doing. And so I've come in to kind of like be that push for them to say, hey, I've been checking the content calendar. Why isn't the content already scheduled for next week? And so because I've been there to help support on that end of things, that consistency has helped them tremendously, but you don't see that because all you're thinking is numbers as far as followers and engagement. But at the end of the day, when you're showing up consistently, that's pleasing the algorithm and that's just going to push you out further.
Yeah. Absolutely. And when we talk about one of the most important aspects of social media management, which is building your brand, that's not really something that's measurable and it's not something that happens overnight. It's something that takes small, sustained efforts over time, over and again, every day, every interaction, every, reply to someone, every post, every story. That is going to build your brand. And help people to perceive your brand in the way that you want. And like Lainey said, like that requires time and consistency. And that's something that, that's not really measurable, but it's so important.
Yes. Like I remember, so we used to, and I don't even know if we talked to you about this since you came back, but it might've happened before you went on maternity leave. But so when we would bring on a new client, we would still do like monthly dashboards. That first month, we would do a dashboard, show them the numbers, what increased, what decreased, whatever. And finally, I was like, why? Like, why are we giving them this when we know for a fact that there's not going to be a huge shift in that first 30 days? We always say it's going to take 3 to 6 months. So now if we get a new client, we're doing dashboards not until that third month that we're working together, because why are we going to show you numbers that we know you're not going to see any results in that first 30 days? And a lot of brands have to understand that, just like you said, it takes time and nobody has the patience for it, which is a problem.
Yeah.
That's why you hire us. Just sit back and let us do our thing.
We got it. That's the thing too, is I think that this isn't, this isn't one of our myths that we had already discussed, like going into this episode, but I think a lot of people don't realize how much we can take off their plate. Like They still think, oh, I have to like be in charge, but you'll just like post for us. It's like, no, we pretty much take it like all off your plate. Like, please just let us.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously we communicate a lot. Let's be honest. I mean, any client that we have, we are in constant communication with them. And mainly, like, I feel like the one thing that we ever need from our clients is just content. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be like fully polished, ready to go content. No. We just need something. Like, we just need the raw assets and then we're good to go. If you can give us that, we're done. Like, you sit back and then you just reap the benefits of all of our hard work and your money.
Yeah. I feel like we've had a lot of clients say that to us. Like, oh my gosh, I'm just so happy that like it's just so much easier now. I'm not having to worry about anything. Like, Strella just takes care of it all for us. And that's,
In fact, we were talking about that today in our creative meeting about that client who was asking questions, and it was obvious that like they have not even looked at their social media. We've been posting for them for years, 2 years, and it's clear that at least recently they have not even looked to see what we've been posting because they trust it so much.
They trust us.
And I feel like that says a lot. And that's exactly what we want for a client, is for them to fully trust us and to know, like, you don't have to worry about a thing. You're still growing. The money's still coming into your pocket. You're seeing those conversions, but you're not having to do the work behind all of it, which is a lot of work. Speaking of, okay, so I know that we've hit on lots of different things that like our team does when it comes to social media management. But one of the biggest myths, my cousin, I always think about my cousin. She's like, all you do is over there and you click clack on your keyboard and you type and you're on your phone and you're posting. And it's like, that's not all we do. So that's definitely the fourth myth that I feel like social media managers get a lot, is that all we do is sit on social media and all we do is post.
Do we love social media? Yes, we do. But
yes.
Like, for example, the other day we have a client. We're pretty involved in our clients' processes. We're trying to be experts on our clients because we want that to come through in our work. So I listened to, a whole podcast episode from him, cutting clips out of that. I was texting him, talking to him about a new video that I wanted from him, and he sent it to me, and we're texting back and forth. So there's just a lot of stuff that goes into it behind the scenes that you might not expect, but it takes a lot for even just one piece of content to go out.
Yeah. And I think that's the foundation of like the first thing that we do when it comes to bringing on a new client. It's not about posting. We literally dive so deep into the market research to fully like take on the brand and to understand their messaging, their tone, their voice, all of those things. And so for us, like, that's marketing. Like, it's not necessarily social media management. It doesn't have a piece of content to go along with it. What we're doing is we're crafting the message so that we can relay it to their audience in a way that, number one, sounds like them, but also is going to get people to convert from just viewing their content to being a follower to then clicking the link and then investing in the product or service. So that's, I think about that all the time. I'm like, tell me again, I'm not a marketer. And I'll show you all the work that goes into onboarding a new client, and you'll think differently.
I was going to say, if people just saw our little onboarding sheet that we do with all of the questions and stuff that we ask, they would change their tune very fast, because I mean, we dive deep into these people's brands. And sometimes the clients, we ask questions, our clients don't know the answers. And so we kind of have to help them through that. Okay, like, what do you envision? What are your goals? And we help them with those branding questions. So like we're helping with brand building before we're even posting any content. Like, before we even have officially signed that contract, we're helping the client to kind of know what they want to do and what their goals are, and like to build out that roadmap for them.
Yeah, definitely. So brand building is a huge one. And then it makes me think, like, educating. I feel like I'm a teacher half the time. I mean, I was just talking to a client today, and she was like, I don't really care. I mean, not to expose somebody, but she said, I don't really care about the current audience. How do we get a new audience? And it's like, well, you should be caring about the current audience, because if they're not engaging with your stuff, it's not going to get pushed out to new people. And so I'm having to educate her on an algorithm and what it takes to actually get more reach with your content. And that is the majority of what I feel like we spend our time doing, is educating.
So true. This is what we need. Well, why? Okay, here's why.
Every time. And they fight it. They fight it so much.
To all our clients listening, we love you.
We love you so much. And it's not just you, it's all of you.
It's all of you.
Literally all of you. But I also think that comes into, I guess, yes, to this myth more than anything. It's something that we have to fight against a lot, or at least advocate for ourselves, is that we're not just executors. Is that the word? I always say that. Sometimes I say executioners, but I mean executors. Like, we don't just like do the thing. We're strategists. Like, there's so much more that goes into it. And even our current clients now, we still have to remind them of that like, we're not just like doing exactly what you told us. We're strategists as well. And so that's a tough one sometimes, being a social media manager. And I think that if you are a social media manager, you really need to have that distinction for your clients? Like, are you just a doer, or are you somebody who is doing all the work behind it, the strategy, the brand building, the educating that comes along with that?
Very true. Yeah. I mean, that goes into a lot of what we do. Do you want someone that is just going to post and log out and be done? Because if you're going to want results, then that's not the way that you get them, unfortunately.
Or you better be willing to pick up the slack and start engaging and doing all the other things that a more comprehensive social media management company is going to do. Like us.
Yeah. Like us.
What we're saying is hire us.
This is our official resume.
Yes. I think we nailed it, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I think that being here's just like maybe like an ending. Sorry, also not in the notes of the outline for today. But I'm curious to know, because somebody was talking to me about this the other day. Like, what do you feel like the future of social media management is going to be? Like, somebody asked me, how long do you think that this is something that you're going to do?
Me
like
personally?
Like their idea was like it was going to go away, that like being a social media manager was not going to be a thing after a period of time. I don't agree with that, but
I don't agree. I mean, I can understand some of the arguments for AI. There's a lot of things that AI can do. There's not a lot of things that AI is good at, especially when it comes to a more creative part, which is a lot of social media, like how things look, how things sound, like video editing. I don't know. I know AI can do all of that stuff. I don't personally feel like the brands who get it and the brands who understand that like social media is about human connection, they're not going to be the ones that are going to be using AI, right? So I think social media is a forever thing, and I also think that it is honestly just going to get bigger. I don't see it getting smaller anytime soon.
Yeah, I just feel like we're in a phase where TikTok's really been around for solidly for 5 years. Give it another 5 years, there'll be a brand new platform, and then there'll be another one that we have to learn and that everyone's flocking to, for sure.
But that's the other good thing about a social media manager, is that you as a client don't have to worry about that, because we've got it. Like if for some reason TikTok does go away and we get a new platform or whatever it is, right? It's all going to look different in 10 years from now. You don't have to worry about that. We've got it. Like we've got that covered.
We learn it immediately.
Yes. We're immediate. We'll immediately tell you what to do.
We just keep thinking of things. But yeah, that's something that we do too, outside of just posting. Is I can't tell you how much, like every day I'm reading articles of what's going on with Blue Sky or with the TikTok ban or all of these things. And we're constantly having to stay up to date on like where people are at, what type of content they're consuming. It's so much. People don't realize it. So
but that's our job.
That's
not
right.
Yours.
If you have a social media management company that you work with, I'm telling you, like, you've invested well and it's worth it. If you're on the fence about it, number one, we'd love to talk to you. You can always book a discovery call with us. And we're happy to just have a free 20-minute call to talk about what issues are you having, what kind of goals are you looking at needing, and how we can help you get there. And obviously, we do customized plans. So it's not a one number for every type of brand. It's really dependent on your platforms that you want to be on, their frequency, how often you want to post, things like that. So yeah, appreciate your social media managers. Well, I am so glad that I got to do the podcast with you. Maybe we'll be together again in season 3.
Let's do it. That'll be fun.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you later.
Bye.